Just shift that over there. There we go, we're all done. So that's the roof of the car done. At the beginning of the year we planned and booked a holiday, and because of COVID it all got cancelled, but it's all back on now. So we're off to Dover on Friday night. You'll be coming with us on that one, but this is now ready. I can now put the top box on. You can see behind me I've done one side of the caravan. I'll show you that in a second, because there are some things on there that in my mind are kind of a must check. So this all harps back to our single axle caravan days. In fact, let's go back a stage further. We talk about something called TPMS, which is tyre pressure monitoring system. Cars have them. They can tell you what pressure is in the tyre and also what temperature the tyre is, and then it alarms at you and tells you if there's issues and things like that that you need to worry about. The thing is, caravans have never had that, and so when you're trundling along the road quite nicely with the single axle caravan, how do you know if one of the wheels is over pressure or getting hot? The only way to do that is to have something called a tyre pressure monitor, which I do have on these caravans. Now, I bought this a product called Tyre Pal quite a few years ago now, for our single axle caravan, and I've just transferred it onto this one because I find it total peace of mind that I get told in the cab via a wireless system, because these are wireless. They'll actually transmit exactly what's happening on every single tyre. So I've got two on the other side as well. So it'll tell me what temperature and pressure is on every single tyre. And I can set alarms and thresholds for pressure and temperature per wheel if I want to. So as I'm driving along, if there's a problem on one of the wheels, it tells me about it, and then that gives me the chance to pull over and possibly change the wheel if I need to. Now, it's not so bad on a twin axle, because if I lost, say, one of the tyres, at least the other ones would be able to carry on and run it. But on a single axle, I couldn't do that. The problem is, if you lost one of those, there's a very good chance that it would either blow out and tip the caravan over, or tip the car over, or in effect it's going to ruin your holiday. So in my mind, it was a small peace of mind just to get these Tyre Pal kits. Now, on top of that, there's another issue. That issue is torque. You have to set these up, these bolts that is, with the correct torque or strength pressure, if you like, that hold in those bolts in, because you don't want your wheel to fall off. So on the other side of the caravan, there's a sticky label just here. On this particular one, it might be different on yours, but it tells you at the bottom of that what the torque settings need to be for each of these bolts. So what I've done is I've marked each one of those after I've torqued them to be able to see visually at a glance, has anything moved. Now, I've taken the caravan out and checked all the Tyre Pal monitors, because they have batteries inside them, obviously, so that they're all transmitting to the module itself. Now, my car has got TPMS built in, so I don't need to worry about it anymore, but I used to have 6 of these anyway, so 4 on my previous car, which never had TPMS, and then 2 on my single axles. But now I can take all 4 of them and put them on there, and I've got a couple of spare because my car's already got them. So I consider that one of the must things to do before you actually go away, because we're going to be clocking up quite a few miles. We're off to Germany, and then we're driving all the way to the other side of France to Brittany. So these need to be, in my mind, something that I can forget about and not have to worry about, because there's plenty of other things to think about. So what are we doing? A bit of a question timey type thing then? Yeah, David's going to ask us questions. Right. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, presenter. Say something then.
I'm David. I'm going to be asking them questions about our holiday. Was our holiday actually cancelled?
Probably not. I say probably not because this is actually what happened, because we booked in December, January, and then COVID came along, and in our minds we thought, oh, that's it, the whole thing's up the spout. But rather than claim a refund, now this is a big shout out to the Caravan Club.
Caravan and Motorhome Club, Steve.
Caravan and Motorhome Club even. We'd already paid the deposit and the final balance, and we thought, well, we'll just hang on, because you never know. Things were rapidly changing. Every day the easing got slightly better. So we thought we'd just hang fire. And then lo and behold, last week it was all back on again. So technically it wasn't cancelled, but in our minds it was, and then it was all back on again.
What has changed about our holiday? Have any of the dates or the destinations changed at all?
Well, the first part of the holiday is unchanged. The main thing that changed is our return journey. We were meant to be coming home via Cherbourg, home via the ferry, but that particular ferry that we were booked on is not running all summer, so that was no longer an option, and this did affect our final campsite, which was going to be a site we've been to before called Ansterbrick. So the Caravan and Motorhome Club helped us make a change, so we're staying a bit longer at our final campsite, which is in we call it in Quimper. It's actually Quimper in France, I believe, or similar. So we're staying there a few extra days, and then literally we are parking in the car park overnight, aren't we? And catching the ferry back from
but the
Roscoff.
ferry in the morning is from Roscoff back to Plymouth, which is, as we live in Swindon, Dover. It doesn't, well, Plymouth or Dover, it doesn't really matter which one you're going back from.
The main difference is a blooming long ride on the ferry. We're used to a couple of hours, and this is 8 hours.
Yeah, well, originally the Cherbourg one would have been the first time we've ever done 4 hours and a cabin, but this is 8 hours and a cabin, so yay. We've never done a cabin, who knows, it might be fun.
It's a new adventure, isn't it?
Big ship, who knows, but you'll get to see that.
Yeah, and just hopefully the weather's okay, because if the weather's rubbish, I'll be hanging with my head over the side for 8 blooming hours.
So yeah, think about it, yeah, I might be as well, because I'm not particularly... I think they call them sea legs. Yeah, I don't think I've got those.
Is it true that our ferry on the way to France is at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That is true. And now there is a reason why I do that. I tend to like to book early morning ferries so that when we arrive, even though we leave at 4, it's actually a 2-hour trip to Dunkirk, but then you got the plus 1 hour time difference, so it's actually 7. And then it's a 4-hour drive, non-stop that is, so I'm guessing it won't be. So we'll be there for about 1ish, which is okay, because that gives you clearance to do what you like to do, get everything set up, and then we haven't got any worries.
Yeah, Steve does, but what that means is when we arrive on site that first day, we'll be totally knackered and grumpy. But never mind, Steve's right, it does feel like we get half the extra day on site. And I leave Steve to put the iron.
Are you planning to be grumpy then?
No, you always are when you get there. We're always grumpy. He always books a really early morning site. One benefit of it though is if there's any space on the ferry before us, if there is one, a couple of times we've got actually on the earlier ferry on the tail end. And that's great because then you get even more time on the other side.
From a practical point of view as well, when you're towing caravans, we like to have not a lot of traffic on the roads. And at that time of the morning as well, people aren't up. And we're actually going through Belgium towards Germany anyway, so we're only in France for, well, that much on the map. It's not much.
Okay.
What sort of things do you need to check before leaving for our holiday?
Well, there's insurances for either personal and or travel insurance, and the caravan and the car insurance. Actually, another shout out to the Caravan and Camping Club this time. I tend to get my insurance through them because it's cheaper in the first place, but they're, for the first time, I think it is for the first time this year, they've been doing European travel where you can actually not do it for 180 days and then pay for all that. We never use that much, and they do the minimum of 30 days, so I've selected that one for 30 days. And obviously that means our premium is slightly cheaper, so bear that in mind, that's a good one. There's also things like international driving, I'm going to call them features, because things like if you go to certain countries you need 2 warning trials. Things like we're carrying a bike on the back. Some countries you have to have a warning symbol on the back of it. Worth having a check to make sure you got the right kit for the right countries.
Oh, and quite often you have to remember when you're abroad on sites, you can sometimes you have to share these and showers. They're multi-set, so they're not separate. And
yeah, I wonder how that's going to be for COVID-19.
I know, and sometimes you have those showers where you just, there's really annoying ones, you've got to just press the button all the time, haven't you?
Yeah, those ones every 30 seconds. We have a gadget which I bought years ago. It's a little plastic thing, which you just, with the suckers on it, and you suck it to the actual wall of the car, of the shower cubicle, and just press, and you screw up the plunger in, so the water stays constant.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shower cheat.
Yes.
What sort of things do you need to think about when you drive onto the ferry with your caravan?
Onto the ferry, not that much initially, apart from when you stop.
Well, no, you have to think about, don't go too fast, take it easy, follow the directions that they give you. Don't just follow the car in front of you, because if you've got a big unit like us, they'll often send us in a different direction to other people, so you do have to follow the directions given to you by the attendants on the day.
But when you do get on the ferry, and before you go upstairs, the first thing you must remember, because we've done this umpty 3 times, is disconnect your electrics. See the umbilical cable that connects the back of the car to the caravan? Separate them, because otherwise you'll come back to a flat battery. Especially on the one on the way back. I mean, 8 hours. You will definitely have a flat battery if you forget to do it.
And apart from anything else, it's embarrassing, because everybody behind you is waiting to get off and you've got a flat battery, so you've got to run around and find jump leads from either the staff. Now we have our own thingy, don't we? A jump lead thingy.
Jump starter.
Yeah,
we have a jump starter, which is also quite handy as well for if you're doing filling up boats with there. I'm taking that, by the way.
No, we're not taking the bloody boat again.
We are. And also, if you've got an air awning, same thing, you pump it up to that. You might go to sites where you haven't plugged into electrics yet.
What things do you need to think about regarding COVID-19?
Well, that's an interesting question, because we don't know. We are going through 3 countries. So Belgium will probably only have to stop for fuel, but that means going into a shop probably, or you might be able to pay at the pump. Either way, I'm guessing just a face mask. We have a pack of face masks, so we're alright on that front. The German rules and the Belgium and the French rules, they seem to be different in terms of their distances as well, so there's that to bear in mind. It's really because we're going to have to suck it and see, really.
Yeah, I think the key thing is make sure you've got face masks, and especially in the UK with the rules coming in on the 24th of July, and this is filmed before the 24th of July, you don't know if you're going to be able to get them. So order your face masks well in advance and take plenty with you if you're using the single-use ones.
See, this is the other problem as well. Do they mean the cheap and flimsy face masks, or do they mean the 3-ply designated by the World Health Organization, same as Wales have done? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like in each of these countries. But we have 3-ply masks as well as normal cheap and cheerful ones.
Yeah.
So.
When travelling in Europe, what is the best sat-nav to use?
Not your car one.
No, it wasn't even that. If you remember right at the very beginning, we only had a map. Then we had a TomTom that was on my phone,
Oh, yeah.
which are based for cars, right? And that's what we used.
Yeah.
Wasn't it, when we went to Italy? What happened?
Yeah, we drove down a bloody narrow road that got narrower and narrower and got stuck with not a twin axle, it was a single axle.
Oh, single axle. It was back in the first days.
Oh, it was awful.
But since then we have moved on to one of these Avtex 770s, the ones where you can select normal car mode, and also what you can do is select car and caravan mode. So when you put it on car and caravan mode, it doesn't take you down those roads or under bridges that are too low and all the rest of it. So you can set your heights and things on it. So we've been using that ever since.
And that's Garmin anyway.
Yeah,
that's
it's a Garmin
brand.
one. Yeah.
It's a Garmin one, and that is money well spent for peace of mind more than anything else, really. So we use that all the time.
Yeah, and it's all of Europe and lifetime guarantee on maps. Yeah. So yeah, why not? It's another thing you don't need to worry about.
When visiting a foreign campsite, what should you find out before you go?
just for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't have to find out anything if you don't want to, but it's good to read up about it if you can. And if you're like Steve, you'll have hunted through YouTube or any kind of possible video evidence of what it's like. And where that is useful actually is access to the site. Because some sites overseas are not that easy when you've got a big unit. You might have to swing right out in the road to get between these are ones we've had, between two massive concrete like pillars. Or something really narrow that then goes over a bridge, or as in one case drive through a bloody forest and then get to a copse and have to turn around and drive through. So honestly, information is power, so have a look if you can and about how to get there, because some of these places are very, very hidden.
Do we do lots of cooking when we are away in other countries?
Not a bloomin' chance. If you think I'm going away to a foreign country to cook, you've got another thing coming. So this is the usual pattern of us eating, okay, when we're away. Usually croissant or similar in the morning, which we go and get fresh from the shop.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
which is lovely. Yeah,
that.
yeah. We do go shopping in local supermarkets to buy up stuff. Usually salad. So if anything happens in the caravan, it's usually around salad. So I do minimal amount of cooking. And then
they do have shops there, you know, the same ones we get here, Aldi and Lidl, and they're there.
And also we tend to eat out on average once a day, apart from the days where we stay in the site, and most sites we stay on will have somewhere you can eat anyway, and we will eat there. I'm blowed if I'm going on holiday to cook. You know, that's not where I don't enjoy cooking at home, so why the hell would I do it on holiday?
Yeah, yeah.
What tips do you have about packing lots of clothes?
Don't.
Well,
Don't.
I got two ways to look at this as well, because you got a list to do. I know you don't like lists, and probably people don't like lists as well, but I'm talking about stuff for the caravan. So on the side of the caravan, you'll have a payload. You'll have an MPTLM limit, which tells you how much you can possibly tow with that caravan fully loaded. Right? Then you have a limit as to what the caravan weighs out of the factory, and the difference between the two is called your payload. This is the stuff that you can take along with you. So you need to do a list. You've got the awning, which may be in the car. I've got the freezer, which may be in the car, as in a box freezer. So I take the shelf out of the fridge because it's not very big enough really for. We have a 6-berth caravan and a normal standard fridge, just rubbish. So anyway, so you got that, and you got all your wetsuits, you've got your bike on the back, we've got a satellite dish on the roof, you've got all this sort of stuff to take into consideration that comes off of that payload figure. Now we're lucky in so much as twin axle caravan, and it can have probably, I think, one of the biggest payloads known to man, apart from motorhome, that is, because I've got nearly 300-400, can't remember what the payload is, but it's a lot. I'm in the process of doing that myself now. But you've got all that to work out first, then you've got things like clothes and things like that, and then you've got the payload on the car. People forget about that too. We've got a top box on the roof, what's going in it, and what's going in the back of the car itself. So you've got that to consider as well. I've got toolboxes, I've got all sorts of things, pegs for the awning, all that lot needs weighing.
Yeah, so actually the minimal amount of clothes you can take, the better. And believe we've learned from experience. So I always say, take enough clothes for a week, enough undies for a bit longer. Do yourself a pile of clothes, and then cut that pile in half. Because you won't wear fresh everything every day. You're going to be in and out of swimmies. I always say take a week's worth of clothing and do a wash.
I can say there's washing machines.
There's washing machines, the whole lot there. Yeah. The only thing you have to do is learn about how many euros you've got to put in the blasted machine and how busy it gets and work around it. And to be honest, if the weather's alright, you're going to just wash it and put it on the line anyway, so that you can recycle your clothes whilst you're there. And frankly, you're probably going to buy some at a market or something or other when you're there. So yeah, do a pile, have it, and you'll be fine.
Thank you, David. Was that good enough?
That was fine.
You looking
that
forward
was
to
just
holiday?
fine.
You looking forward to your holiday?
Forward to it.
What are you looking forward to most?
getting there and being there for the first night because.
Which one? Phantasia Land?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you'd be looking forward to. Phantasia Land, fun parks. Yeah, all towns, here we come. Well, that's it for this one. We hope you found it useful, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell.